This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
iHeart presents the Big Three Playoffs. This Sunday, the remaining 4 teams battle to make the championship in the most physical, fierce, and competitive basketball league in the world. The action starts with the Big Three Monster Energy Celebrity Game. Then Dwight Howard and his LA Riot take on Montrezl Harrell and Dr. J Chicago Triplets. The finale will see popular Miami 305 with stars MVP Michael Beasley and Lance Stevenson take on Nancy Lieberman's Dallas Power. Who will make it to the Big Three Championship? The no-holds-barred action starts Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 Pacific, only on CBS.
FAN.
The State Fair shirt collection is right around the corner, but we couldn't keep this one hidden any longer. Snag your From Dong Show to Gong Show shirt today in the KFAN Pro Shop. That's KFAN.com. Keyword gong to secure yours today.
Couple 13-14 past. I'm Common. He is 10 to be. Rock Talk. Brian Oak in studio 130. Rosen at 2. Right now, though, it's time for 5, 3, 4.
Time now for 5 questions. Well, actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4. Question number 1.
We're gonna win, Twins, we're gonna score.
It's now time to delve deep into Twins territory.
Crack out a home run, shout a hit, hooray! Cheer for the Minnesota Twins today.
For the first time all season, Joe Ryan wasn't able to complete at least 5 innings as the Twins lost to the Athletics 6-3 last night at Target Field. Ryan gave up 5 runs, 2 of them earned on 6 hits over 4 innings. These 6 hits matched Ryan's second highest total in a start this season. It was the second time in Ryan's last 10 starts that he gave up more than just 2 runs. Common, any reason to be concerned about Joe Ryan's outing last night?
Oh, with the team, what, 3rd worst record? Is it in the American League or all of baseball? It's one of the two. They're just awful, right? So I guess, I mean, no, I think you're going to have one of those games, right? I mean, what I find most interesting is the first part of your question. It's actually notable that for the first time all season, he hasn't gone at least 5 innings. You know, and again, it's the back in my day bit I like to do. Mickey Lolich of my beloved Detroit Tigers, 1968, went 3-0 in the World Series. All 3 wins were 9-inning complete games in the World Series. You know, it's like no 7th-inning guy, no 8th-inning guy, no closer. And I know the reasons why. It's they throw much harder now. And with the money invested in these guys' arms, you don't want Tommy John surgery taking a year. You know, you're paying for him while he's rehabbing. So I get all that. But Joe's a hell of a pitcher. You know, the big thing is, and again, I don't know. I mean,
how about he gave up 6 hits last night? He's only had 1 start all year where he gave up more than 6 hits.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. It
is. He was an all-star. I mean, he was kind of a replacement all-star, but he was still pitched well enough to be an all-star. He's a hell of a pitcher. So no, I'm not too terribly concerned. My concern is what will Falvey and the Pohlads do once the season ends? Will they go real youth movement and say, yeah, you know, Joe's great and everything, but we want to go really young. Get rid of Lopez, get rid of, I don't think they'd get rid of Joe Ryan, but yeah, it was more than anything is the clunker happening against another awful team. You wouldn't think that would happen, but it's going to happen to even the best pitcher. So,
Question number 2. It's time now for a look at the Lynx.
For the first time this season, the Lynx lost to the Liberty. It was 85-75 last night at Barclays Center. Jonquel Jones had 22 points and 10 rebounds for the Liberty. Sabrina Ionescu tallied 17 points and 11 assists. The loss snapped the Lynx's winning streak at 6. Common, your thoughts?
Well, I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I watched the last 5 minutes. It's kind of sloppy basketball. Lynx they cut it to 4, but then both teams started just throwing up bricks and there were air balls and it just got sloppy, kind of a frenetic kind of a pace. But I I guess they're the two best teams in the league. They met in the finals last year. So, it would have been a nice feather in your cap to win all 4 meetings in the year. But I don't think, again, does that really mean anything? I guess psychologically, if you were to meet them in the playoffs, I think we discussed this yesterday. Would you have some players on the Liberty going, we just can't beat this club. Well, we're 0-4 against them and get negative, especially if they lose the first game in a playoff series and they go, well, we can't beat this club. So winning that game, I think is I guess could benefit them, but I don't think it once. Put it this way, Tennessee, you can use this next time the Tennessee Fitzgerald set sales. Once postseason play starts, you throw the records out.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, just throw them out the window.
Yeah. Everyone's back at 0.
Everybody's back, and then somebody's always got to go. So
I did see a post-game interview last night with Sabrina Ionescu of the Liberty.
Okay.
And she did the night at the end of her interview. It's like,
night.
They've beaten you 3 or 4 this year.
Yeah.
Like, this is your first win in 4 tries against the team. I don't know if that's night worthy.
Sounds like you're a little. It looks like she triggered you.
She got me.
She got you.
Yeah.
Who else just got triggered? Somebody else just got. Oh, did you see where Fowler got triggered?
Fowler?
Somebody's been taunting Ricky Fowler on social for weeks and weeks and weeks. And
he finally snapped.
He finally snapped.
Bitter on Twitter.
Well, the guy, he's one of those guys that he was saying, kind of unseemly things to.
Just block those people.
Childish trash talking, right? And Ricky finally bit and went after him. And, that's all the guy wanted to do is, I can get him going. But, yeah.
Just block and move on.
So, it sounds like you got a little, maybe you should block an
I might have to.
What's her name?
Sabrina Ionescu.
Ionescu?
I don't know if that's pronounced
We'll go with it
properly, but
ask Rosen. Well, he'll have several.
She'll know. Yeah, he'll know.
He'll have several.
He'll know where she went to college.
Well, he'll have several pronunciations, is what he'll have. You know that.
Question number 3. It's time now for multiple choice.
Common, which headline at ESPN.com would you most likely click on? A, agent unsure of Richardson's future with the Colts. B, Scheffler odds to win, shortest since Tigers in 2009. C, CFP selection committee to use enhanced metrics. D, Texas QB Manning says future plans still unclear. E, Chavez deported to Mexico for alleged cartel ties. Or F, Rory took home 1,100 Masters flags after win.
Just to autograph them, I think, right? I think that's why he did. He autographs them and hands them out to people. None of those really. I saw.
You do neither.
Well, I saw all of them and I didn't click on any of them. I didn't because they didn't interest me.
They'll make you.
What was the college football playoff one? CFP.
The CFP selection committee to use enhanced metrics. A little more analytics involved.
They say that, but it's still. Well, we got to have Alabama. You had to take the helmet schools. You're not going to say, you know what, we're going to give that cute little club from Peoria an opportunity. No, it's going to be the. And isn't
it's not like Alabama versus Northern Illinois. Let's look at the advanced metrics here.
Right, exactly. I also see where when they've been talking about expanding the football playoffs, that it's like there will be automatic bids. The SEC will get
each conference
4. The Big Ten gets 4. It's like, well, why should the 4th place? I don't know why there should be automatic. I mean, I get it. The Big 18's got a lot of good players and a lot of good teams, but just get automatics. What if the 4 teams really not that good? What if they're good, but there's other. I don't like the idea of these automatic. Maybe give 1 to each maybe 2, but 4 it makes no sense to me.
Question number 3. It's time now for the lowdown in Dinkytown.
I know you love List Radio at ESPN.com. They ranked the top 100 players in college football this season. Gopher sophomore defensive back Coy Parrish was ranked 42. They wrote, quote, Parrish is a bit under the radar at Minnesota, but could be one of college football's most exciting all-around players to watch, especially in the post-Travis Hunter era. He earned first-team All-Big Ten honors at defensive back, recording 5 interceptions to go along with a forced fumble and 46 tackles. Parrish was also a second-team All-Big Ten return specialist with 314 kick return yards and 188 punt return yards. He will have an even bigger role on offense this fall. Common, you agree that Coy Parrish is the 42nd best player in college football?
I think he's underrated. I don't know why he's only 42.
I always love that one.
It's the flyover country thing, right? Well, he's from Minnesota, plays for Minnesota, so can he really be that good? I don't know. I don't watch enough college football. I literally couldn't name one person on any other Big Ten team, not one player on a Big. I can't. The only player I know on the Gophers is Coy Parrish. I don't know another Gopher player. Sorry.
Drake Lindsey.
Yeah, that's our quarterback. So I don't know if 42 is the right spot. It's think of all the college football players out there. 42 means you're really, really good. So I'm happy for the kid. And hopefully he can have the success playing both sides of the ball that Travis Hunter, the name, right?
Yeah.
That he had. It'd be great.
I'd like to see him on offense first before we start throwing Travis Hunter comparisons out there.
Right. I just meant.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying you.
Yeah.
I'm saying the story compared Travis Hunter. I've heard PJ compared to Travis Hunter. And maybe they're right.
Yeah, maybe. I for me, the comparison is just a guy playing both sides because I don't think that happens often in it certainly doesn't happen in the pros. There's nobody in pro football playing both sides of the ball, is there? Nobody.
Well, Travis Hunter will be.
Well, one guy. Yeah. One guy. Other than that, there's nobody doing it. In college, it's rare as well, right? So it says something about a guy's athletic ability and his commitment to the game. And, look, it's a 3-hour game, and there's only 11 and a half minutes of action. They did that study once where somebody put a stopwatch, and the average time, real action in a game is 11 and a half minutes. But it's still, it's a physical, demanding game. And when you don't get a break, usually the offense goes 3 and out. You go sit on, you get a Gatorade, you put your helmet on that little cooling thing, and you sit there and you wait for the defense to get the ball back to you. This kid's going to be on the field he's not leaving the field. He just stays out on the field other than when they punt. He comes, and he might be on the punt team too. I don't know. So it's demanding to do it. So best to him.
And that's it for today's edition of 5 Questions. Well, actually 3 questions, but 5 sounds like more than 4.
More controversial Vikings news. Other side of the break. Brian Oak, Mark Rosen, State Fair tomorrow. And the auction continues too. More on that. Other side of the break. The Common Man program here on the Fan.
And Ice Cube's Big 3 is the surprise hit of the summer. And to cap off the season, iHeart presents the Big 3 Basketball Playoffs. This Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern, the remaining 4 teams battle it out for the right to make the Big 3 championship in the most physical, fierce, and competitive basketball league in the world. The action starts with the Big 3 Monster Energy Celebrity Game, where your favorite stars compete in Big 3 3-on-3 basketball. Then the first of 2 semifinal games features Dwight Howard and the LA Riot taking on Montrezl Harrell and Dr. J's first-place Chicago Triplets. The finale will see popular Miami 305 with stars MVP Michael Beasley, and last will Make You Dance Stevenson take on Nancy Lieberman's Dallas Power, who finished the season winning 5 straight weeks to capture second place. Can Glenn Rice, Greg Monroe, and Paul Millsap stop Miami's physical assault, or will Miami and Beasley put an end to Dallas's winning ways? Who will make it to the Big 3 championship? This no-holds-barred action starts Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 Pacific, only on CBS.
Lap.
Get ready to laugh. Comedy legend Bill Engvall is back at Treasure Island Resort and Casino on Friday, September 5th. The blue-collar comedy tour icon may have retired, but he just couldn't stay away from the stage.
How can you?
Here's your sign to catch him live for another round of side-splitting humor. Get all the details at TICasino.com.
Here's what I'll tell you. I think he's back by popular demand. People were demanding Bill Engvall return to the comedy stage, and we're all glad he's there. Couple 13-14 passed, Common Man program. I'm told Scott Matlock for the Chargers also plays on both sides of the ball. I looked it up. He indeed, Scotty Matlock. He plays defensive line and fullback for the Chargers.
Interesting.
So there is another player that does it. So he played at Boise State. Good for him. Another one of those CBS stories, sports stories, as they're gearing up for football coverage. Every young quarterback's secret best friend for the 2025 NFL season. So in other words, who is the guy that will help them? Who will be their Robin to their Batman, or Batman to their Robin, or, Abbott to Costello, Ollie to Stanley.
But it sounds like a secret best friend, though.
Because you don't know.
It's not the obvious one?
It's not the obvious one. And so, of course, I had to do it, right? I had to scroll down to the our guy, J.J. McCarthy.
Sure.
Who do you think they have as his secret weapon?
Well, assuming Justin Jefferson cannot be that guy because he would not be a secret.
No, that's for sure.
My first thought, if you would have told me a month ago, my guess here would have been T.J. Hawkinson. Okay. But after watching training camp and seeing the chemistry between J.J. McCarthy and Jordan Addison, I think post 3-game suspension that Jordan Addison's gonna be that guy.
It's not who they have. Running back Jordan Mason. Here's what it says. This was a tough call. Justin Jefferson would be any and every quarterback's best friend, but he's no secret. Exactly what you just said. Jordan Addison showed elite chemistry with McCarthy this summer, like you just said, but he's guaranteed to miss the first 3 games due to suspension. That leaves Mason as a real under-the-radar X factor. Aaron Jones is the lightning of Kevin O'Connell's backfield, but the Vikings appeared determined to utilize Mason, the ex-49er fill-in, as a short yardage chain mover. If that takes pressure off McCarthy on key downs and in the red area, it will be a win. And that does make some sense. You could make that argument. I do think the Mason acquisition could end up being as big as any other one. I mean, we've talked a lot about the interior linemen that the Vikings added, and the on defense, and the interior linemen on the offensive side of the ball that they've added, and I do think they're important. But I don't even know if this is like, they call it a copycat league, and I'm not saying that the Lions, no one's ever had 2 running backs share the load before. It's never happened. But it was really effective for Detroit last couple of years, having Gibbs and Montgomery. They're so good that they came up with a nickname. What is it again? The Sonic and Knuckles?
Sonic and Knuckles.
And I think the Vikings are kind of trying to do their version of Sonic and Knuckles. And it makes sense. It really does. When you can... Here's another story about the run game, tend to be. Aaron Glenn, former Lions a defensive coordinator, now the head coach with the New York Football Jets. And there's a headline here. This is another CBS Sports story. It says, Jets coach Aaron Glenn very confident in QB Justin Fields despite criticism of passing attack. Okay. Why did you do this to me? Why don't you just let me? There we go. Story says, Jets went a different direction at QB when they signed Justin Fields, moved away from Rodgers. Early in Fields' tenure, Coach Aaron Glenn has become a little frustrated with his new quarterback being frequently criticized as a passer. Here's what he said. I mean, you have so many people that want to talk about a small amount of plays these guys get to go out there and play, and then everything is falling down because we throw 6 passes, actually 5 Saturday. He goes, then he's Johnny Unitas when we throw 4 passes in the first game. So it bothers me, and I laugh at it quite a bit. But the thing is, I understand it because the noise that happens from the outside. He says he's very confident in him. And here's what else is said. Glenn added that he's very confident in what the Jets' passing attack will look like in the regular season. Even if there are growing pains in Fields' first year at the helm, the Jets coach believes that the team can establish a strong ground game and took exception with a reporter that suggested the NFL is a passing league. Here's what he said. Who says it's a passing league? The team that won the big game, what were they in passing? 29th? What were they in running? First.
Yeah.
And it was a passing league forever. And a lot of it had to do, we've talked about it, fantasy football. And I think it's more exciting. I think fans do like drop back to pass throws, and the guy makes he Odell's it, or he's JJ. People love that. But, and it's, I guess a lot of people, just running the ball a lot isn't really exciting, especially if it's just, if they're not explosive runs where, these guys, he cuts back, does this, big hole, goes for 30, 40 yards. If it's 4 yards here, 3 yards there, then 6 yards there, first down. 4 yards here, 3 yards there. See, it's not exciting. But it's the way a lot of the teams, and that's what the Eagles did, right? Big, bulky offensive line, grind up clock, score points, have your shutdown defense stuff the other team in a 3-and-out, and the next thing you know, you're up 7-0. The other team has had 3 plays from scrimmage. Their defense is tired because you just ground out on them for 7 minutes and ran the ball most of that time. Now the defense has to go back out there again. It's demoralizing. That's why, for me, I know everybody likes to pass. You got to have a ground game, I think, nowadays. And I think part of the change, and you and I have discussed this, and I think you agree with me, I think a lot of it happened where because defenses were drafting for defensive players to stop the pass, and the schemes were starting to be designed to stop the pass, a lot of these other guys go, okay, well, let's start running the ball again now. Because they don't have the personnel or the schematics. They're not ready for it. And so I think
Justin Fields can run.
Yes,
he's
he can run.
Top 3-ish quarterback runner in all of football. And I think Jalen Hurts is probably a good comp for here's a guy you should try to mimic because they're both bigger.
Correct.
He can run, but he's also a bigger running quarterback, right? He's not Lamar Jackson, who's, a little bit thinner.
Right.
On the Vikings aspect of it, I go back to one of the. You've had many great sports talk points over the years.
Thank you, Timothy.
Working with you, I've learned so much. But one of the best takes I think you've ever had is every NFL football game is like a crossword puzzle.
Yeah.
Right? That's the way Bill Belichick approaches it. Like, whatever worked in week 1, that doesn't mean that's how it's going to transpire in week 2 because you have different teams, different matchups. And that's why I like having Jordan Mason there with Aaron Jones. I think by the end of the year, they're probably going to play 50-50, right? And Mason's going to be getting more of the 3rd and 1 short yardage goal line work, I'm assuming. But depending on the opponent, if you have a team you need to ground and pound a little bit more, then Jordan Mason can be more of your one back in those games. And if you have an opponent where, their linebackers aren't very good in coverage and we can throw the ball out to Aaron Jones out in the flat a little bit more, then Aaron Jones can be more of your one in that game. And you give yourself options and you're versatile depending on your opponent. And last year, at least at the running back position, we just kind of had one guy in Aaron Jones.
That's exactly right. And having that ability, that change of pace, different styles of runner is important too. This text message, I think he's right. He says the Chiefs were a rush first team last year also. They ran the ball a lot. And I think maybe a lot of that had to do with the receiving core wasn't.
Well, they definitely have stopped throwing the ball deep.
Yeah.
I mean, they throw the ball much more near inside 10 yards than they ever used to with Pat Mahomes.
And then there's this one, Tenby, it says, what if we kept 5 or 6 running backs and just kept everyone fresh and ground everyone into sawdust? Seems like a brilliant idea to me. I like that.
Brilliant.
I like that 5 or 6 running backs. I never thought of that before. That's like a really good idea. We'll take a break, and then Brian Oak will join us for a little rock talk here on the Fan.
Reviews and ratings are in, and Ice Cube's Big 3 is the surprise hit of the summer. And to cap off the season, iHeart presents the Big 3 Basketball Championship and 8th Annual Big 3 All-Star Game this coming Sunday, August 24th, live from Orlando. The remaining 2 teams fight it out for the Big 3 Championship Dr. J Trophy in the most physical, fierce, and competitive basketball league in the world. Don't miss the wild conclusion of Big 3's 8th and most historic season ever. This is the game no one wants to lose, and there's no crying in the Big 3. The action starts with the Big 3 8th Annual All-Star Game. Don't miss All-Stars Dwight Howard, Montrezl Harrell, MVP Michael Beasley, Lance will make you Dan Stevenson, Jordan Crawford, Greg Monroe, Earl Clark, Nazir Kaur, and more show you why they are the best 3-on-3 basketball players in the world. Big 3's exciting All-Star Game, plus the crowning of a new Big 3 champion. The no-holds-barred action starts Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 Pacific, only on CBS.
Join us out at the Minnesota State Fair through Labor Day for your favorite fan shows, chances to win great prizes, and to stock up on our new KFAN swag. Come find us in Carousel Park at the KFAN booth, powered by Culligan. Stop by the Culligan Hydration Station at the Minnesota State Fair on the corner of Dan Patch and Cosgrove. Fill your bottle for free with cold Culligan water. Culligan, water you love.
Couple 13-14 pass here in the Common Man program. I'm Common. He's 10 and B. Excited and delighted to be joined by Brian Oak. It's time for Rock Talk.
Always one of the highlights of my week. I love coming in here.
Well,
I could sit around and talk about music all day, every day, and so
Well, you
I
kinda
really
do, don't you?
I kind of, yeah. And so I genuinely look forward to this every
Yeah,
week.
I do as well. There are a number of topics, including maybe the biggest music festival in the Upper Midwest.
Not maybe. It is absolutely confirmed to be the biggest music festival in the Upper Midwest annually is the Great Minnesota Get Together.
Okay.
And to me, the reason the music is so important, yes, there's the huge grandstand shows, and those are a big draw to get people in the gate. But think about how much it costs just to walk in the gate at the state fair. And let's be honest, there's not enough free stuff to make it worthwhile. It's still ultra expensive once you've paid the $18 or whatever it costs to get in. And so the only way to make that ticket worth what it costs, in my opinion, is to check out some music. And with more than a half dozen stages, and I think they've got more than 900 shows by more than 100 bands and artists and various organizations. There's dog stunts and all that kind of stuff. But the musical quality is spectacular in terms of the free stuff this year. And so when you're going out, make sure you look ahead and check out who's going to be playing there, because tons of local favorites are playing. A great number of bands that are in from out of town. Bands you might not otherwise normally go see, like maybe some sort of cultural, national heritage oriented band. Right. And there's always so much unique opportunity. You don't even have to go to the grandstand to see more music than you could ever want, whatever day you decide to go, or multiple days. I
think you're like me. Like, I can walk into a bar and it can be just one guy strumming on his guitar by himself. I love watching and listening. I think anybody that's up there giving it an effort. I think part of it is because I can't play a musical instrument. I just can't. But
you always kept music very close to you. Ours is the same story. I realized early on I could sing a little bit, but I tried one band and I realized that was not going to be my life. But music's always been very close to me, and I've kind of chosen a career path based on my ability to stay within proximity of music. And I'm with you, but I enjoy it on every strata, from that tiny little hole in the wall that's got 3 people listening, as long as the artist is good and interesting, all the way up to a mega arena show that's properly done. We've all seen bad versions of everything in between, but when you get out there and you have that exceptional moment, to me, that's a peak experience in life. It's one of my very, very favorite things.
You have the grandstand, which really have all the major acts. Right. Some going up, some coming down.
Correct.
Are they doing the Happy Together thing again with the Turtles and all that? They doing like a hippie fest kind of. They usually do some version of a hippie fest where they have it'll be the Turtles and the Dave Clark 5 or whatever the case may be.
Happy Together Tour 2025 featuring, shockingly, the Turtles, Jay and the Americans, Little Anthony, Gary Puckett and the Union Gap, the Vogues and the Cowsills. And to be honest, and not to be one of those contrarian music hipsters, the Cowsills are the most interesting bill on that lineup for me, or act on that bill rather for me, because they were the real life Partridge Family.
Yes.
And they had the same kind of groovy 60s, but entirely safe for the family kind of jams, and they were all really talented, tons of harmonies. I don't know what they sound like these days, and I know we lost a cowsill in one of the hurricane floods. So they do that every year because it's the state fair. This isn't supposed to be downtown music hipster central. It's supposed to be literally something for everybody, and that might help dictate which day you go. Speaking of, have you seen the forecast for this weekend? Highs in the upper 60s. It's a dream state fair, considering the number of sweat boxes we've had out there. Are you out there every day?
Yeah, every day. Starting tomorrow, Thursday, Friday. That is the worst part, when it's 90 with high humidity.
Hate it.
I'm not a big fan of being
I can't breathe, and I'm not a lot less sociable. So, I was out there broadcasting every day too for more than 25 years, and it's fun, and I love it. And I've always gone to the state fair. I'll go as a civilian this year. I'm going to join you out there next Wednesday. But it's a lot of the joy goes out when you're out there every day. It's not quite as magical a destination.
the Leinenkugel band shell's a nice place to watch music.
No
too.
longer the Leinenkugel band
It's
shell.
not. What is it now?
It was, and then was the Shells Outdoor Amphitheater
No.
1.2. Now it's just known as the Amphitheater. Or no, pardon me, the Band Shell.
The Band
Not
Shell.
to be confused with the West End Market Stage at Schilling Amphitheater. The Band Shell is just now
Well,
the
I've
Band
always
Shell.
known it as Liney's, and I can't call it anything else.
Well, I hate
What?
to break it. I mean, what you're doing right there is making sure that Liney's is getting their money's
I
worth
guess,
because they're not paying for the naming rights
I
anymore.
wonder why they gave up on that.
Why not scoop in with the ROK TOK Band Shell series? You know, you pony up a little money and we'll slap our name on there and make it a thing.
You guys could announce the bands before they come out there.
Look at that. And we could have some say, because it's a great lineup this year. Young singer-songwriter Rachel Platten, Arrested Development, and this is free, by the way, for 2 nights in a row. To me, the musical highlight of all of it is Los Lobos. You ever seen them live?
Yeah.
Los Lobos.
No, I've not seen them live. I'm sorry.
They
but
are spectacular live. It's almost psychedelic more than
they're
blues.
the La Bamba band, right?
Yeah, they are, but that was their cover song,
No, I
and that
know.
was their big claim to
Right.
fame. But they are like groovy and down-tempo, and like I said, borderline psychedelic in a lot of their shows. I just think they're spectacular, and for free. What is the date today? Today is the 20th, so I'll be out there with you on the 27th. Taylor Holder, I don't know who that is. Carla Perez doing a tribute to Selena, and then Bear on the final weekend, on the Sunday and Monday of Labor Day weekend. So, and that's just the band shell, by the way. There are stages. It's hard to get out of earshot of a stage at the Great Minnesota Get
next
Together.
to the DNR building, there's that, I don't know what the name of the stage is, but there's always live music there. I stop every year, and there'll be somebody, it might be a guy with an accordion, then it might be some kind of a country rock band, then it might be some type of an orchestra. I mean, they just do all different kinds of music, and it runs pretty much nonstop.
Yeah.
Some group plays for an hour, they leave, another group comes up for an hour, they leave, and it's like you say, it's a wide variety.
And it doesn't just have to be music, you know, the live entertainment aspect of it, like the All-Star Stunt Dog Splash, is really pretty amazing to watch.
The what now?
The All-Star Stunt Dogs Splash.
So can you?
Yeah, people come up there with their extremely well-trained canines and run them through their best tricks.
Oh, really?
Now, I see you over there.
No, I'm just
sitting high atop Common Mountain.
No, I'm not.
Looking down
It's
at the
great.
simpletons
No,
below.
no, it's
you know,
fun.
for something for the kids when they're starting to get
Yes.
into meltdown mode, or you're looking for them to have something to look at. This is where memories are forged. Common, Timberwolves Lumberjack Show, huh? How about sawing some logs? That's what I thought you would say. But no, there are tons and tons of great acts out there this year on the local front. I don't even know where to start. Cindy Lawson, who is a genius, is going to be out there ripping things up. I saw that Terry Walsh and his bands are going to be out there. The Prairie Fire Choir. So many bands are going to be out there this year. And you just go to mnstatefair.org, and believe it or not, most places' websites are run put together so terribly. Whoever's doing it for the state fair does a great job, because everything's super easy to find and very easy to navigate. So I like how they're doing it there, and they got great music again this year.
I prescribe to a lot of different publications. Fish Wrap Factory, East, West, Athletic, Popular Mechanics, Popular Nuts and Bolts, and Lick My Whip. I also
you haven't broken that one out in a minute.
It's been a long time. The Hollywood Reporter. Here's the headline.
Hit me.
Morgan Wallen will not submit music for 2026 Grammys.
Really?
Wallen, who's never won a Grammy despite his status as the biggest artist in country music, has the best-selling album of 2025, I'm the Problem. It appears it's almost like a protest.
Yeah. It's got to be. Why else wouldn't he submit his music?
It says Morgan Wallen will not be submitting his music for consideration at the Grammys. His team confirmed it, removing one of the biggest acts in the business from contention. His team did not provide any further comment or detail beyond confirming the decision. Wallen hasn't been embraced by the Recording Academy's voter base since it became the biggest country act in the business in the early 2020s, only receiving his first Grammy nominations last year thanks to his appearance on Post Malone's country smash, I Had Some Help. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't even his own, it was a combination working with, what's his face? Post Malone. Says, still, even though several controversies, including the infamous use of a racial slur back in 2021, Wall has become the undisputed biggest country artist in the world. He has by far the best-selling album of the year with I'm the Problem, which has spent 11 weeks atop Billboard's 200 albums chart since its May release. It became the most streamed country album of the year in less than a day.
Yep.
And songs from the album have lined the Hot 100 throughout the summer with What I Want, featuring Tate McRae topping the chart back in May. Now, let me tell you something. What would the Academy have against him?
That's a great question. I mean, because this is not a new story. You know, whether we're talking about the Hall of Fame or Grammys, or you get over into Academy Awards, any kind of like major recognition, there always seem to be artists and bands that it defies explanation as to why. Why aren't they there? What does somebody at the top have it in for them? Are they have they just not hit the right notes for the people who are at the very highest levels making these decisions? I don't think anyone can really know unless you're there, or unless you're sitting down with Morgan Wallen or sitting down with people from the RIAA. I don't think you can really know, but it's not this one is surprising to me. Yes, he did drop a racial slur, and I'm not really even a huge fan of his music, but when you use those kind of huge statements like the biggest country star in the world, he actually is. And part of his gift is he can appeal to both the most ridiculous craft beer, hipster, country revivalist, the outlaw country kids that think that end of country's cool, to the most average, run-of-the-mill, casual, bro-country music fan. And he does very well with the female demographic. Everybody who's into country music, no matter what stripe, seems to like Morgan Wallen. So to me, it's very surprising that he's doing this, but it obviously stems from something else, because this would kind of be his year to clean up. But I like it that he sent a message. I mean, well, and also, let's be honest, other than just a little statue, he's already sold the records. Yeah. He's already had the success. Other than a little statue for the mantelpiece, what is it really doing for you? And this adds an almost ridiculous level of credibility to the outlaw country end of what he's trying to do, not just the moving units and getting massive airplay.
Well, then my guess is it's more of he's felt like, because he's been, from what I understand, the biggest country act for a couple of years now.
Correct.
Right? And so that's my first Grammy nomination. And it's with Post Malone. Really? That's what you think of me?
That
it's
could
almost
be
like an ego thing. It's like, well, and I guess to a certain extent, you might not blame a guy where you just go, well, okay, then, well, guess what? You don't even listen to this one. You don't have to worry about this one.
Yeah, well, and again, and who knows? Maybe he started it, maybe they started it, but clearly you don't, when you're that big an artist and you've got that many paying interest behind you, right? Like maybe even if he doesn't care, his labels want more Grammys on the wall, and there are going to be people involved. Doing it it's a pretty major step, but again, where it all began and why it continues even to this, and why he ultimately made that decision, I don't think we know.
This one says, the story goes on to say, the Grammys, this is the first time getting the cold shoulder from an artist, a major artist. The Weeknd famously boycotted the awards back in 2021, citing the lack of transparency on how the awards are decided. He made up with the Grammys, made an appearance. They even mentioned the controversy. Mm-hmm. But I would, because people don't know who's voting and what's the criteria and what's this and what's that, so people get suspicious.
And same thing with the Rock Hall and all kind, just about any one of these high-level recognitions for sure.
Yeah, so there you go. Did you say you had a couple of other things?
Just one little thing that I wanted to get to for sure. Again, so I'm usually the angel of death. I come in to talk about these foundational, legendary figures in the history of music. This guy is not that. However, he is part of one of the most iconic album covers of all time. Let's be honest. Pink Floyd knows something about an iconic album cover, right? I mean, yes. The most charted album in Billboard history is still Dark Side of the Moon, and I would argue that's probably the most iconic album cover in the history of rock and roll, with the simple prism breaking the light into rainbows there. They also had another one, though, for Wish You Were Here, their tribute to their fallen comrade, Syd Barrett, who was still alive, just he had lost his mind through the drugs and whatnot. Yeah. But on the cover of Wish You Were Here, there is this incredibly enduring and iconic picture of two guys shaking hands, and one of them is completely engulfed in flames. Now, of course, this was taken back at a time where we didn't have the benefit of computer animated graphics and things. You wanted to be on fire at that time. You actually had to be on fire. And the stuntman who was set on fire for that album, Wish You Were Here, on the cover, has died at the age of 88. Ronnie Rondell Jr. That's literally the only thing I know about him. But
from burns did he die? Or?
No. Nothing? No rim shot? Nothing? No. At 88, no. He would have incurred those burns some 50 some years ago. Right. Yeah. So I just wanted to mention that he was gone because, again, not a household name. You've never heard his music, but if you've ever flipped through a decent record collection, you've absolutely seen the picture.
Here's someone you've heard of, John Mellencamp.
Yeah.
He's making headlines again. He's always been a cantankerous dude. What'd he do? Well, it's a crowd thing again.
Yeah.
The crowd gets angry with him. It says, this is a story. This happened in Pennsylvania, I guess. Hold on. I have so much trouble dialing up the story once I get it. Give me a second. I'm sorry.
While you look for that, I do have one little follow-up from a couple weeks ago on the text line. Somebody had texted in to ask why Let's Go Scare Al was not available on Spotify, the beloved album from local greats, Gear Daddies. I don't have an answer for you, but I want you to know I did lots of research, talked to lots of people, and I could not, over a dozen, and I could not get a solid answer as to why that particular record's not on there. But I want you to know that I was interested, and now I'm really interested, so I'll keep looking. But also, I love those kind of questions because it gives me a chance to do some homework. And again, if I'm not talking about music, I like listening to it or reading it.
Oh, I see. Penn Live. Now I saved the story. I got to read it. Now they want me to pay for it.
Of course they do.
I'm not paying for it.
No?
Well, I don't think I'm ever going to go back to Penn Live again.
Don't you believe in the power of journalism?
Yes, I do, but I already paid for it. I already paid for plenty.
Yeah, I know.
But I did read the story. Well, here's what it was. So he's at the point in his career now where it's not like a real rock show anymore where you come on the stage, it's 2 hours of high energy, hit after hit after hit. It's more come out, strum your guitar, tell stories, which I like myself.
He's turning into an aging troubadour.
Yeah, I like the aging troubadour thing. I like to sit back. I like when I pull up, somebody parks my car for me. They take me to a table and give me a menu.
Yeah, you like that, do you?
I like that.
Yeah,
that's how I like to see shows. I don't want to go down into the mosh pit at the X anymore. I did that.
Let's open this pit up. Am I right, Common?
Well, I remembered it for Skinner, right? We're down for Leonard Skinner. We're down there, and everybody's, you're just like a sardine can, right? Some guy takes off his flannel shirt, starts it on fire, and he's swinging it over his head like this, and then he lets go of it. Do you know how quickly all of a sudden the opening, went boom. Well, that shirt came to the ground, and then as soon as it hit the ground, boom, everybody went back to where they were. Yep. I don't want to be there.
Well, again, I've also aged out of that particular level of concert excitement. Yes. But I like to be close enough that I can feel that sort of like that crazy crackling electricity.
Right. So apparently someone's even started to tell a story again. Someone goes, just sing songs.
Oh,
That got Mellencamp a little annoyed. And I can't remember his exact quote, but he basically said, dude, it's not what I do.
Well, and also,
I'm going to tell stories. If you don't like it, just leave. And then he, I think he even threatened to leave the stage again. He's done that before, too, because he's so mad. But
well, again, Mellencamp, and I'll do it to myself. By the way, I appeared on the Power Trip doing the initials game, and at some point somebody wrote in on the text line that you didn't have to respect Oak, or you didn't have to love Oak, but you had to respect him.
I always love that.
Mellencamp is kind of that way, right? If you're going to go, I don't really want to hear it all the time because in between song banter can kill it. But a guy with that kind of legacy, a guy with that kind of great songwriting chops and the life he's led, let the man tell a couple stories. I'm in.
Well, then it depends how good of a storyteller is and how good the stories are.
Well, and are they getting to a point, or is it just absolutely rambling? If they're good, short, again, it's all part of being an entertainer. If you are a great guitar player, nothing else, then you focus on the guitar. If you think, but he's also kind of earned the right to do whatever he wants because he's been around at a high level for a super long time.
And you should know by now that's what he's going to do.
Precisely.
It's not going to be a 1980s Mellencamp concert from the olden days.
With the T-shirts rolled up, singing I Fight Authority.
Right.
Those days are in the rearview mirror.
So my favorite website is the American Songwriter, The Craft of Music. And they send me stories constantly. Linda Ronstadt recalls harrowing flight with the Doors in the late 1960s.
Can you imagine?
Countless musicians have met their untimely end because of aviation accidents. And in the late 60s, it seemed like Linda Ronstadt and the Doors were in a position to add their names to that list. Fortunately, they avoided disaster, but it still made for an interesting story on the road. Ronstadt was with the Stone Ponies, her band. They did. That's what the
I ain't saying you ain't pretty. All I'm saying is I'm not ready. What the heck is it?
The song written by
different drum.
Yeah, that was written by Mike Nesmith.
Yep.
of the Monkees.
Mm-hmm.
So Stone Ponies went on the road with Neil Young, Jackson Browne, and the Doors. Ronstadt's time with the Doors proved to be particularly memorable. That was thanks in no small part to a rather harrowing flight the musicians took from Rochester, New York, to Boston, Massachusetts in bad weather. She said, we got hung up in Rochester. We were supposed to go to Boston to do a concert in the afternoon. We had to do 2 shows. Boston was fogged in and all the airplanes were grounded and we couldn't go. We're going to lose all that money, right? And all those kids were waiting for us. Our manager, Herbie Cohen, never to be daunted, he forced us all at solid gunpoint on this DC-3, this rickety old plane. Uh-huh. And he got some kind of used tire salesman to fly it because he couldn't find a pilot.
What?
No. The singer joked that she and the rest of the musical entourage hijacked the plane and went to Cuba. In fact, before assuring an interviewer that the entire group made it to Boston safe and sound about an hour late. Riding through dense fog in a rickety plane with a used tire salesman in the cockpit is about as fanciful a tour story as there is. But that was just one of the many interesting experiences she had with the Doors. She said, I remember seeing them at the Whiskey A Go-Go. I thought if they just get rid of their singer, they could have hits. And I continued to feel that way until the end of our tour. But Morrison was a troubled guy. I didn't think he was a very good singer, but he was magnetic. The fans loved him, but he was drunk all the time. He wore the same pair of snakeskin pants every day. Gross. He wasn't exactly the person you wanted to sit next to,
Well, there's not a lot of give in snakeskin from what I understand, and I bet they don't breathe very well.
She recalled the troubling dynamic Morrison adopted with his audience. The way the audience and the people that have maybe a terrible identity crisis would project themselves up on stage and onto Morrison and they just kind of idolize him. It was this kind of narcissistic feeding frenzy. It was really disturbing.
You can't disagree with her take on that, because she's a pro, but also, I mean, if you listen to even that first Doors record, despite the fact that it spawned numerous hits, it is pure. That's my favorite. It's dark. My favorite thing about the Doors is that at the time, when everyone else is doing sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows, and that end of the, sort of the just past the peak of the hippie dream, they are singing these songs of dark philosophical reality. They were the only ones singing about the dark, seedy underbelly of L.A. They were spooky, dark, and Jim Morrison is where all that lyrical imagery came from. He was a dark dude.
One last thing for you. Do you remember a song, Sunshine Go Away Today? Jonathan Edwards, right?
It
is Jonathan Edwards.
Okay.
Now, I don't know how. Here's how. Hurdle 70s. You ever play Hurdle? Heardle. They have Hurdle 60s, Hurdle 70s, Hurdle 80s. And they give you, it's like, how many notes can you name that tune?
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I have played.
I got it right away. And it was Sunshine Go Away Today by Jonathan Edwards. Now, I couldn't remember the artist's name, but I knew the name of the song. So then I do that deep dive where I Google his name, right?
Right.
He was from Aiken, Minnesota.
Really?
And he played with everybody. He was like best friends with Emmylou Harris.
See, that doesn't surprise me. Almost all the people from that era played with or worked with or knew other people in that circle, but that's new information. I'm always learning. Always learning.
Aiken, Minnesota.
Yeah.
So anyway, I thought I'd throw that at you.
Right.
Thanks as always. You got a podcast.
I do.
You?
It's actually it's more surprising than you'd think. Not as surprising as I would, or not as popular as I would like. But the Brian Oak Show podcast, 509 episodes deep now. Recording another one on Friday, and if you would like to find it, I would recommend going through the number one destination for podcasts. That would be the free iHeartRadio app. You should have it on your handheld device.
Always.
Oak will also be at the Minnesota State Fair for an hour with you, including Name That Tune.
Absolutely.
At 1:30.
I'm looking forward. It's our own little hurdle right there.
Yeah, exactly right. So we look forward to seeing you next Wednesday at the Minnesota State Fair. Thanks so very much.
I'll be there. Thank you.
Appreciate it. That's Brian Oak. We'll take a break. Mark Rosen next here on The Fan.
presents the Big Three Playoffs. This Sunday, the remaining 4 teams battle to make the championship in the most physical, fierce, and competitive basketball league in the world. The action starts with the Big Three Monster Energy Celebrity Game. Then Dwight Howard and his Ellie Ryan take on Montrezl Harrell and Dr. J Chicago Triplets. The finale will see popular Miami 305 with stars MVP Michael Beasley and Lance Stevenson take on Nancy Lieberman's Dallas Power. Who will make it to the Big Three Championship? The no-holds-barred action starts Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 Pacific, only on CBS.